All right, what we might do, we'll get started. For Libby, for your sake, we'll just run through some slides and then I'll show you a little step-by-step video of the return returns video or returns process, sorry. And then we'll just jump through a couple of other slides and we'll try and make it as quick as possible for you. But considering it's just you with us today, you'll have as much time as you want to ask questions, and then you can do so while I run through the presentation if you like. So um, just if you don't know who the three of us are, my name's Aaron. We have Mandy, who's the operations manager with us, and Eva, who is our community engagement officer. And I'm the communications and engagement manager with the community services scheme. So thanks for joining us. I'd just like to firstly acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today. Today I'm on Kaurna land and I pay my respects to the Kaurna people and also pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I extend that respect to all Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander people with us today. So this session is all about helping you confidently understand and complete and submit your quarterly return for the Portable Long Service Leave Community Services Scheme. The return document is available in the employer portal if you haven't yet completed one and submitted one. Let's hope that you've seen it in previous quarterly periods. But if not, you'll see it on your employer portal. I guess a real key thing to remember is if you haven't registered your eligible workers as yet, the form will not have been able to pre-populate those eligible workers. So if the workers have been registered first, they should populate onto that quarterly return document for you. I'll just step through each step of the process. We'll explain what information you'll need to have available and highlight some of the common things that as part of this process that you need to be aware of. Just a little bit of, I guess, summary on the key dates of the scheme. We kicked off the Portable Long Service Leave scheme on the 1st of October last year. We're currently in the third reporting quarter, the 1st of April to the 31st of May. I think we've got a week left, if that. Of the quarter, and the quarterly return and the levy payment is due on the 21st of July. So once you're set up, you're registered, and the employer, and the eligible workers are uploaded. The main task for the employers is to complete a quarterly return. These returns are pretty straightforward. They're generated automatically on the employer portal. And as you can see on the slide in front of you, they're due on the 21st day after the end of each quarter. So the little highlighted yellow bit is the current quarter we're in, and that's the due date and the future due dates of the other quarters. The important thing to remember, I guess, in this space is that the levy and those returns are due on the same day. So you can complete them both in one go. So once your workers are registered, like I said, your ongoing task is to complete a quarterly return. Towards the end of each quarter, I think from memory, 5 or 6 days prior to the end of the quarter, you'll receive an email advising that the return is available for you to complete. The return link will be available in your employer portal, like I've said, as you can see on the dashboard on this slide. So where the arrow is pointed, the long arrow, you can see that that's what will pop up on the employer portal, a pending return requirement for a periodic return. And if you wanted to, you could also find that return in the returns tab at the top on the right-hand side where the little small arrow is pointing. So what you'll need to report is your workers' weeks worked and how much you've paid them for that period. The system will guide you through it, and it's designed to be quick and easy. And when you submit your return, the system will automatically generate an invoice for the levy. So it really comes down to just providing that data around those two key pieces of information for each of your workers. So, Livy, I'm just going to run through a little video for you. It's actually a little step-by-step video. There's a little bit of a gap at the start for a few seconds with no sound, and then we get into I guess, someone who is providing a little background voice, providing some guidance on what those steps are. So I'll press play, listen along, and when I get to it, we'll move on to the next slide.
Log into your employer portal. The dashboard will display any pending returns. Returns can also be accessed from the main menu. Open the relevant return. The return will pre-fill all active workers that were registered before the return document was generated. Complete the information on screen. Enter the weeks worked and the remuneration for all workers for this quarterly period. The amount will automatically calculate. Click Add Existing Worker to view other workers on your account to add to the return. Select Additional Worker and enter the weeks worked and remuneration. The total will adjust. Keep adding workers as needed. If weeks worked or remuneration is 0, you'll be required to enter a discrepancy reason. If the worker terminated, enter their last day of employment with you. To add a new worker, select Add New Worker. Complete the new worker's details. And enter the weeks worked and remuneration. The total will adjust. Select Submit. You can also bulk upload the weeks worked and remuneration. There are instructions for each column, including a list of what's included and excluded in remuneration. And instructions for adding new workers. Manually enter weeks worked and remuneration. Enter any discrepancies. Or any termination details if applicable. Using the Instructions tab, you can see what is required to add new workers. Enter the details of the worker. The preferred option for email is a personal email address instead of a work email address. Enter the weeks worked and remuneration. Save your file and upload to the portal. An invoice will be emailed to you. With different payment options available. You can also find your invoices on the employer portal.
Okay, so Libby, that's the end of the video. So just for your benefit, that video sits on our website as well under our resources page. We have a number of, I guess, step-by-step video guides on our website that you can look at, and that sits within that group as well. So if you want to go back over it, you can look at it via our website, or we'll actually even record this session and put it up on our website as well, so you can watch back over it that way as well. Just one thing that wasn't shown in that video is when a worker doesn't work for the entire or every week of that quarter. If the worker works a part, or like 2 or 3 or 4 of those weeks of the full quarter, or a part of that quarter, we just need some evidence around what they have worked. So some timesheets can be uploaded, just to give us that evidence of when that worker worked, and that can be done through the reporting mechanism as well. Just keep that in mind. If the worker doesn't work at all in that quarter, so 0 weeks worked, you won't need to provide any evidence. It's only when they work a part week that we'll need, I guess, that little bit of backing information for us. So just to touch on the ordinary weekly pay real quick, for service accrued now that the scheme started, so service accrued after the scheme started, it's important everyone has the same understanding in this space. So OWP is simply the amount used to work out what a worker gets paid and when they take long service leave. It's not based on their current rate alone. It's calculated as an average of what they're earned over each week over the past 3 years. Now that's slightly different to leave if they take leave that's pre-scheme that they've accrued. But for portable long service leave, it's based on an average of what they've earned over the past 3 years. Now that average covers all of their service. So if a worker has been employed by several organisations in that time, their ordinary weekly pay reflects earnings across all employers and all return periods recorded in the scheme. Thank you for that clarity, Mandy. When it comes to remuneration, just wanted to touch on this real quick because it's directly linked to both the levy and the ordinary weekly pay. Remuneration is basically the gross payments made to the worker for their work, and that includes ordinary wages, regular allowances, and I guess other standard payments. There are a number of one-off payments or reimbursements that isn't included. It's just the payments that reflect their regular work. And I'll show you in a couple of slides about things that are in and out. But these are the things that we use to calculate both the levy you pay and the worker's average weekly pay for long service leave. And it's really important to keep that clear distinction, so as to help avoid errors in reporting and ensures everyone's records are accurate. So these are a number of remuneration options that are included from an employee's ordinary pay. So annual leave, excluding the loading, sick leave, and the list goes on. And importantly, what you'll see down the bottom of the right-hand side is that there's that disclaimer or the catch-all that says that everything is included that's not on the excluded list. So I'll show you the excluded list, which essentially is these are the things that are not to be included in your remuneration calculate or your total. Um, Annual leave loading, superannuation, overtime or hours paid overtime rates, and all those types of things. So these are excluded from included in your remuneration, and if they're not on this list, we expect it to be an included item in the remuneration. What you see in front of you, they do not count towards the 2.2% levy. Um, when it comes to claiming long service leave itself, um, it's fairly simple when it comes to a worker who has at least 120 months of service. They can take time off or they can request a cash payment in lieu of time off instead. Leave must be claimed in whole calendar days with a minimum of 1 week per claim. It doesn't have to go in weekly chunks from that point onwards. They could have 8 days or 9 days, but as long as it's a minimum of 1 week per claim. Workers will submit their application through their own worker portal. The leave won't be paid until the employer approves the time off. So whilst it's not necessarily part of this webinar, just to keep it, I guess just to let you know, the worker applies for long service leave through the worker portal. They submit that request. Our team does a quick review of that request and then sends it on to the employer for a little bit of information from the employer. And then the employer approves it, hopefully. And then it comes back to the claims team within the scheme to process that claim. Payments are generally made to the worker the week after the leave starts so that the worker has access to the pay when they're on leave. We have a standard rule where the workers should apply for long service leave 2 months in advance. There is, I guess, examples of that happening a lot sooner than 2 months. It depends on whether or not the employer and the worker agree to take that leave earlier than the 2 month period. But from our perspective, from a scheme's perspective, once we've got all of the information from the employer and the employer has approved it, we've got about a 3-week processing turnaround time. So I guess the 2 months is there for to give the employers and the workers enough time to agree as to when to take leave. If a worker leaves the community service sector after at least 84 months worth of service, or 84 months of service, sorry, they can receive a pro rata payment for the long service leave they've accrued. Just a quick look at transitional provisions. This is about service a worker accrued before the scheme started. So all of their service that they accrued prior to the 1st of October last year in 2025. Any continuous service with an employer before that date carries over into the scheme. That means it counts towards portable long service leave entitlements. However, there is another disclaimer. If the worker leaves before reaching 7 years with that employer, so before their continuous service reaches 7 years, that service that they had before the 1st of October is lost. So they'll only carry over the portable long service leave accruals that they've accrued, since the 1st of October. On the flip side to that, if a worker stays for 7 or more years, the employer becomes liable for a payment for the long service leave accrued before the scheme starts. And the rate of pay for service accrued before the scheme is calculated under the Long Service Leave Act. So it reflects the old rules, not the scheme's current average weekly pay calculation. We obviously have a compliance requirement when it comes to receiving and requesting all the information from employers and workers. Um, our approach is fairly simple. We're here to provide the support and the guidance that employers and workers need. We don't want to come down, or we don't want to go down the path of penalties or fines. Our goal is to help everyone understand obligations under the scheme and make it as easy for them to meet them. There are penalties and there are fines that we can impose, which are a part of the Act. But again, it's not something that we want to go down the path of if we don't necessarily need to. What one practical thing you can do to make life easier is to keep clear records and documentation of registrations, your returns, and payroll calculations. And what that helps with is if we get any questions or someone comes to us and asks us, say a worker comes to us and asks us for some clarification on something, we can rely on that documentation, or we can come and talk to the employers about that information, and the documentation clearly shows that it bits of information that we can get from them. So it's really important just to keep those records. We like to work together with the employers to make sure that we can resolve any issues, and that data or that information is quite handy to have when we need it. So meaning it means that if you keep it, it's easier to get. What have we been going? We've been going for about 8 months now, and the scheme started on the 1st of October. So again, this is our third cycle when it comes to a quarterly return. We're going to make these webinars as a regular item in everyone's calendars. So for those who need a little bit more information when it comes to the quarterly periodic end or the levy payment, we'll hold these sessions at around those times. We have a ton of information on our website, which is available via toolkits or information sheets around different parts of the scheme. We record all of our webinars, and they're on our website, and you can go back and watch them in your own time. We have FAQs dedicated to employers and to workers, and we've got a customer service team on the phones and answering your emails for anyone who has any more questions or if they can't find the answer on the website. So I guess the key thing here is we want to provide as much support as we can for those involved. You're not on your own, and there's multiple ways to get the support whenever you need it. Libby, that really comes to the end of today. A personalised session for you, and I know you've been asking some questions on the chat, so thank you for that, and I think Mandy's answered most of them for you. We do have an email address which you can see on your screen if you do have any questions that you want to come through to the team with. There are the phone numbers that get to the same customer service officers as well. My suggestion, if you don't already, is to follow us on LinkedIn or Facebook. We do post quite a lot of information on there around reminders or bits of news or details about these upcoming webinars. So feel free to follow us on those two. The little QR code you can see on your screen will take you directly to our website as well. So if you wanted to bookmark that website, if you haven't already done so, it might be helpful for you to go back to the website and have a look at any time you want. So Libby, I can see you typing away if you are. If you need anything else, yell out. Please don't feel like you're alone. So if you do have any questions and you are confused, just reach out to us, and we'll be able to try and help you as much as possible. Thanks very much. We appreciate your time, Libby, and have a great rest of your day. And we'll speak again soon. Thanks.